All right, hello again. Here we are again here. A few channels I'm in Discord talking about BTC today. Rightfully so. Had a little bit of a gap down at the beginning of the week, and then we've rebounded off of long-term, long-term support, long-term resistance. Been going on for some time now. So we're going to take a look at BTC, just the open, high, low, and close for the recent week to see if there was a place that we could have gotten into this trade. Obviously, higher time frames definitely helped you out if you were looking at BTC. Let's see if I pull up a chart over here. I am not a TradingView subscriber anymore, so I use very little indicators, but let's just take a look here at what I've been looking at. And then we'll get to the futures market, because that's really what it's about. Yeah. That's getting right up into some resistance. So we kind of figured that 10165 was going to be a little bit stiff. They traded straight through it. Looking for, didn't quite get those shorts, but they were definitely looking for it. And what a lot of people are looking for is, or hoping for, in this bounce, which was pretty epic off of, right off this 95.10 range that we've got marked off in the futures department as well here. Tell you what, if you loaded the dice on this long-term support, resistance flipped as support. Take a look at what I'm looking at here. Turn off these fractals here too. A considerable amount of market memory going on here. A lot of touches. So not too surprising that when we flipped this here, when we first tested this, I mean, it was tested here, but on this retest, on this dump, that there was demand sitting by, and they took it the other way. It's a nice candle. It's a great candle. It's a great pivot too, great fractal. So I mean, this looked good. This traded strong through it. So, and then here's that up channel that we were working with, and here was the internal channel that we were looking at too. But this this bull run here, sentiment change channel that we've been working with, it held. Will it break down? I don't know. Gain support and we'll find out. 10160 is should be pretty stiff resistance here, but can they pop through? This is a really strong pivot right here. And we know how crypto can go. It can rip. It can definitely rip. I mean, I was waiting for 9K here on the VWAP anchored. Something we've been watching for a while too. So I mean, the buying started back here. I think probably on the second, right? Wrong month. That's where the buying started. We drill down a little bit further, and I think we get a cleaner look. But all right, Polynix too. Yeah. So and the buying started picking up down here. We had nice couple of entries along VWAP, the anchored. I was waiting for, 8,900, 9K. So I was waiting for another bid. Well, this was a good one too, right? I mean, don't get any better than that. Look at the confluence. Look at the resistance. We punched through. We came back, retested that area. If you loaded the dice, you made out well. So let's take a look at the futures market. Because that is really what it's about here. Open high, low close for the last week. See if we could find an entry into BTC here. There's that gap that we were working with. A couple of notable things on this chart that I really liked, for entries at least. But BTC is violent as all hell, especially recently with this new sentiment change here. We'll see if we can. Let's pull up the my favorite tool here. And if I haven't said so already, this is Paramay trades. We focus on commodities trading and technical analysis. I'm not an advisor. This is just speculation, just speculating like the rest of you. Most of my focus and studies has been with Larry Williams' work. And he talks about a lot about these things here. Just market swings, man. Just market swings. So, looking back here at the previous week, you gotta look back a little bit further to find safe entry, I think. You can't. I wanted to do just, a 10-day, so we could get a clean look at where last week opened and where we are now. But we had to go back a little bit further to see this higher low here and this higher low here. And we had that nice gap up last week, right? We gapped up here. So this was the open, last week's open. And any strange coincidence that we found a little bit of support here? Probably not. Good area. We traded straight through it. We came back, we tested it. And we had a nice little pump. So, in terms of swing pivots, and again, this is just the same business that we've been seeing. Aside from this gap up here, the same business with pivots. We come up, take out these highs, take out 1, take out 2, take out 3. These pivot high, and then you've got your swing here. You've got your swing pivot here. When was a good time to be a buyer? Probably right here. That looked real good. Took out one high, and then we had confirmation that we've got this swing in place. This this fractal. And they always look like this, don't they? Well, these small ranges beget these large ranges. Small range up in here. Sure, we traded through it. Small range begets a large range. Just like Larry says, the market moves and pivots. Pivots and swings. If I've got that right. So it looks good here, right? There was a pretty good entry there. And this thing's all over the place. This thing's from day to day. So down day, up day, down day, up day. Massively down day, massively up day. This thing swings. I personally am not buying contracts of futures contracts of BTC. At least not right now. Maybe a little bit more chart analysis, in-depth chart analysis, and are you comfortable with it? Well, now's the time to be a buyer, right? Right here was just on the 15-minute, still on the 15-minute chart though. Market sentiment is down. Think rally. Market sentiment is down. Think rally. Sentiment's down. Well, they pumped it. And one thing I did, this is one of the interesting things that I found about this chart was we got price moving up here, right? Price is moving up. Sentiment is moving down. Do we have a divergence here on market sentiment? Not sure that I noticed this on the other charts, and market sentiment's a little bit new to my analysis, but we got price moving up here. We got sentiment moving down. That could be a nice indication of a diversion here, that we're getting ready to go to the downside, and we did, but we did hard. Same thing here. Price moving up, sentiment moving down. And here, no divergence, just straight market sentiment getting just totally shit on. Market sentiment is low at 15. And then we had that nice setup going again. Higher lows on each side. And we've got, you know, an intermediate bottom here. At least, you know, in terms of the week. Where did it trade to? Last week's low. Just barely traded through it. Just barely traded through that. And it bounced up nicely. Got the higher low. Where would we have confirmation? Probably right up in here. We traded. You join the trend, I guess. So take your bids down here at last week's low. Especially with this indicator here. Yeah. Yeah, you might want to think rally down here. Hindsight's 2020 though, right? It's always easy to chart everything that's happened. You look back and you go, oh yeah, I was a buyer here, absolutely. It's always easy. So let's look forward. What are we gonna do? Well, here's that high. We gotta take out this high. Take out this high. Most certainly gotta take out this high. Well, we should have recognized here that, you know, they didn't push past it. Let's close of the week though. Are you holding at the close on Friday? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so. Especially with where BTC was. I mean, this was quite a pump. So was this Friday? Tell me it was Friday the 13th. Was it? No, it couldn't have been. No, it's Thursday. It was 14th. Was yeah. I mean, you're closing up. We're closing up here, and look where we are, right into this this volume. So yeah, I probably wouldn't have been holding on Friday anyway here. And then right up against the this last high, this local high. So they took that out. Is this thing going to the moon? Oh, maybe. It's staying in this channel, so gotta break this channel first. But then are we buyers down here? Are we buyers right up in here in this candle? Because 8,900, that's probably going to be where I would look to take a bid. Everybody will thinking that it breaks down a little bit, at least that much, and come down 1,000. I bet you would be running for the hills. So looking forward, this gap isn't filled here. Boy, I read an article once that you know, fill the gap and continue in the sentiment's direction. They pushed pretty hard to fill this up. Is it over? I don't know. Look at where market sentiment is. It's blazing right now. Does it mean it can't continue? No, it doesn't mean it can't. Maybe you start thinking about being a buyer down here, though. We did come up over this support area. Last week's open. If we can hold on to that, that'd be nice. But what do we got here? Here's your pivot. We got a lower high here. Are we going to get a pivot here? And down we go. Everybody's pretty damn optimistic about BTC, but I'm not. Oh, I mean, what can you do? The trend is up. The trend is up here. So buy dips, right? Here it is, ATR. And we did peg this one before. We thought we had a inverse head and shoulders here. Higher low, low. Sorry. Yeah, higher low. Higher low, low, higher low. Boop, 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 boop. Broke the range right there too. How convenient. How convenient that on that right shoulder. Is it right or is it left? It's upside down, right? Who knows? Who the hell knows? Well, we broke that ATR range, and that was, rule of thumb, at least for me, on the ATR is break the range, pull back into demand, and we had some nice support going on right here, and continue in the sentiment's direction. We did not break the range down here, so there's no short signal here, at least in terms of ATR. Yeah, it might have retraced a little bit, but we had mused that this was our more important low to hold, this 95.10, because this is a nice area right here, right? They needed to flip this. Bulls needed to flip this as support, and they got it. So far, they got it. This was long term, man. This was long term. Some months. This was back in July. End of July, yeah, mid-July. Support, support, support. They lost it. Came back up, tested it, was rejected by it. A little struggles getting through here. Not very much, though. Not very much. Not a lot of selling off, because they already blasted through here. Probably crushed a lot of shorts coming up in here. They got wrecked. Diminishing supply, right? And you see it running like this, you seller? You're gonna hold on for dear life. But look where we are at 10.435. This is another area of interest for me. Why was this an area of interest? I'm gonna have to look back further because I've got this back pretty far here. Yeah, we had some nice support in here, nice resistance, broke through it, came back down. Oh, there's some nice supply going on up in here. There's no big surprise that we peeled away, but dipping back down, people are still pretty interested, pretty euphoric on this. It's sad that we don't have any commercial interest on this, but what we do have is, at least I think, small speculator and large funds on BTC from, let's go, I'm going to pull over this chart in a second here, just bear with me while I get it. This is bar chart. It's currencies, and we're looking at Bitcoin futures for February here. And so let's pull down. No, we're going to go commitment of traders, because this is the only data that we've got on it, right? If they'll give it to us. They might not give it to us here. We would really like it. There it is. Oh boy, it's being pesky today. Come on, load the data. So, okay, so I'm going to go by memory here, but small speculators, and it might have been leverage funds. Nope. It was these two lines right here for commitment traders. So small speculators and not as large speculators. They were large speculators are not as optimistic as the small speculators are. And these guys you don't want to follow them. They're the most bullish that they've been on BTC, at least per this data, than large speculators have. They're the most short that they've been. Come on, give us the data. Give it to us. Son of a... Let's see if we can pull this up on Discord here. on the financials. Let's go. Let's go. Currencies. Sorry. Do not have it here, fellas. Looks like it's somewhere else. I know where it is. I know where it is. Bar chart won't give it to us. It's okay. We got a backlog here. Nice. There it is. All right. All right. All right. Small speculators, the most bullish that they've been on this chart in, well, as far back as we can see. Year and a half? About a year and a half. So we're looking at, this is our non-commercial interest. Large speculators are the most bearish that they've been right up in here. Very peculiar. Very peculiar. So small speculators are the most bearish. They're holding the most net short contracts at the bottom of this. They're holding short. What are large speculators doing right now? They're increasing their net long position. They're buying more now at this bottom than small speculators are. Where did BTC go? Well, about 1,500 or about 15,000. Or about 14, right? It was 14, yeah. We start getting closer to the top here, and what's going on? They're closing out, man. They're not buying. They're not as optimistic up here. They are not. Why? Would you be optimistic up here on this run? Would you be loading up your long contracts, or you'd be loading up your short contracts? Well, it looks like somebody was loading up the short contracts. Who was not loading up short contracts? Small speculators. Didn't pay to be long up here. They did pay to be short, though. What's going on over here? It's like, Brian Shannon said this once, if the market don't wait you out, it'll wear you out. And maybe they're just a little too excited here, because if you haven't noticed, from the top, from 20,000 to 14,000, is realistically still in a downtrend. Yeah, you've got these short-term trends in between, but you better take this high out. You better start taking more highs out, because that does not look good right now. I do not want to be on the same side of the trade as these small speculators. Commercial interest is they're a little bit better with their money than large speculators are. I would assume they move the market a little more, but we don't really have them in here, do we? We have some. Not really. Not really. I don't know, but that's all the data that we have. So and we're rambling here, but what's going on? What's up with market sentiment too? It's on the rise. It's on the rise. It is rising. We're gonna peak out like we did up here, or we're gonna get way up there. This had an epic curve to it. Look at that. And market sentiment moved up so rapidly, and we hardly moved up. So the sentiment was, everybody waited through the bear market, and when they saw this big candle here, and we pumped up from 4 to 5. People got really excited. For good cause too. But once we hit that top, that was an amazing pivot. Traded right through it. That should have been the key indicator there. We didn't trade above it, and we traded well below this pivot, or below this candle. I think even on the weekly it was a hell of a pivot. We're on that daily, boom, we broke bearish. And wow, look at that, right? If you didn't get the opportunity to short it, once we broke through that true range, we did not close below the true range down here. Once we closed below that true range, we came back up and we retested that range, right? That was a good place to short. That's nice. Does it always work that way? No, not really. Doesn't always work that way. It's not always that great. But we're in distribution land up here, so you know. Again, someone like Brian Shannon would say, do you want to trade in the distribution, or do you want to wait until you know that there's, you're going to join that side of the market cycle? You're going to trade during markup? Are you going to trade during distribution? Or are you going to sell during distribution? Or are you going to sell when it's declining? It looked like it was declining pretty well down here. Lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower lows, all the way down. And we never really got a clean. I mean, you could have argued that this was a pivot, but I've not dissected that. I have to pull all this off here to take a better look at it. Moving forward, where are we going? Ooh. Yeah. Yep. I'm going to come down, retest some stuff here. If you missed this, where are you going? Where are we going to close today? We're going to close a little lower. We'll book some profits. Sentiment's high. Sentiment's up there. Time to get out of the pool. Sentiment's up. It's time to get out. Sentiment's up. But price is moving up. Divergence. What a funny market. In terms of market sentiment, what a funny one. Anyways, we will quickly look forward here so that we know what to look for. Maybe buy a little lower. Here's your pivot. Well, sorry we're getting to this late because you missed the pump, but you might get another chance. We never filled this gap, so we're going to look for the same thing we always look for. So we got a lower high here. We've got a high pivot here. We've got to come up and trade through this. If we come down and we pivot up and we bounce back, all that excitement was for nothing because BTC might be topping out here in this rally. And we might need to retrace a little bit more. So, and we got to keep. My marker here is this line here. Hold 95, 95.10, 95.50. I think it's 95.10 on the futures market here. Hold that line, and then yeah, we got to hold here. Bulls got to hold this area. Well, breakdown here might send it down to lower levels, and I would be looking at at VWAP, anchored VWAP, where all the buying started, and probably about 8,900 or something like that. 9K 8,900 would be a nice place for a bounce, but we'll take a look at that again in another video. Let's keep this one short and sweet. BTC looks like all the excitement's going to hell here. We'll see. See if it finds support right about there. See if it holds that that 10,000 mark. Sentiment's up though. All right, be careful, be safe. Find yourself on the right side of the trade. Hopefully this was at least informative, educational, something. Join us on Discord if you'd like. Should be in the description. And good luck finding yourself on the right side of the trade.